Complex sentences. A complex sentence has two parts. An independent clause is one part of a complex sentence. It is a subject and a verb, and it expresses one complete idea. A dependent clause is the other part of a complex sentence. It is a subject and a verb, but it does not express a complete idea. A dependent clause needs an independent clause to make a complete idea. When you join a dependent clause and an independent clause, you make a complex sentence. Abdul travels quite a lot because he is a businessman. In this sentence, the first part is the independent clause. Abdul is the subject, travels is the verb, and there is one complete idea. The second part is the dependent clause. There is information missing. We do not know what happens because he is a businessman. A dependent clause always begins with a conjunction. You can use the conjunctions, because, if, and when, with dependent clauses. Greg learned Turkish customs because he works in Turkey. Jim will spend more time in Istanbul if he travels to Turkey again. Rima follows Turkish customs when she visits Turkey. Sentences with because. An independent clause has a subject and a verb, and it expresses a complete idea. It can stand alone. All simple sentences are independent clauses. People send notes. Because is a conjunction. Use the word because to explain why. Because begins a dependent clause. A dependent clause has a subject and a verb, but it does not express a complete idea. Because it is easy, this is not a complete idea. We do not know what happens because it is easy. A dependent clause by itself is a sentence fragment. It needs an independent clause to make a complete idea. People send notes because it is easy. This is a complete sentence. It has two clauses, one independent clause, and one dependent clause with because. Clauses with before and after. An independent clause has a subject and a verb. It expresses a complete idea. A dependent clause has a subject and a verb, but it does not express a complete idea. A dependent clause begins with a conjunction. Conjunctions such as before and after join an independent clause with a dependent clause. These conjunctions describe when something happened. Y ate fast food every day before she changed her diet. Before she changed her diet is the dependent clause. We do not know what happened before she changed her diet when we read only this clause. Celia ate fast food before she traveled. The word before describes when Celia ate fast food. The dependent clause is before she traveled. She ate fast food and then she traveled. Joseph read the recipe after he bought the cookbook. The word after describes when Joseph read the recipe. The dependent clause is after he bought the cookbook. He bought a cookbook and then he read a recipe.